Welcome to Morbid Outdoors, the podcast that ventures deep into the shadows of the wild. Here, we unravel the mysteries of missing persons, explore spine chilling legends, and share the most morbid stories that nature has to offer. From the depths of the dense forests to the highest mountain peaks, we'll uncover the secrets that lie hidden in the great outdoors. Join us as we navigate the eerie, the unexplained, and the terrifying. So if you dare, grab your gear and let's embark on a journey into the unknown. This is Morbid Outdoors. Hello, everybody. My name is Elise, and I'm your host. And today is just nature news. This will be for March and April. March and April have been so busy for me. Like I said last week, I just feel like for some reason, spring is always the busiest in my life. I don't know why. It's even busier than the holidays, which feels like it can't be true, but it is. So I am very happy that I'm able to kind of shove these 2 months together. There's not been a ton of nature news. And I never just want to put out like a 5-minute episode. So I am sitting down today recording, and I cannot believe that it is basically May. Crazy. I'm so excited because I do not work in the summer. And so I have like 5 weeks left, maybe four, until I get to be done with the summer. But when you listen to this, I will be driving back from Nevada from a fun little getaway to a cool state park. And yeah, if you want to see my private travels, my personal travels, not private, my personal travels, you can follow me on Instagram. I don't really post my personal stuff on the Morbid Outdoors Instagram, but I have linked my personal Instagram. So feel free to follow me there. But let's get into this nature news. This is your March and April 2026 nature news, a roundup of real stories right now happening in the world. From a decades old disappearance finally getting answers, to fatal accidents in national parks, to a rescue in Utah that could have easily ended differently, to fraud at the top of the world, and a rare conservation effort offering a glimpse of hope. Let's get into it. We're going to start on the Northern California coast. Human remains discovered on a beach have been identified as Walter Carl Kinney, a 59-year-old banker who disappeared in 1999. Now, here's what we know. Kinney vanished in August 1999, and shortly after, partial remains, specifically a leg, washed ashore near Bodega Bay. Those remains were identified later in 2003. But the story didn't end there. In 2022, a family walking along Salmon Creek State Beach found another bone. And this time it was treated as a separate case. But it wasn't until this year, 2026, using modern genetic genealogy, that investigators confirmed both discoveries belonged to the same person. This man named Walter Carl Kinney. I just find it interesting that his body parts have been washing up ashore like 20 years after the his leg washed up. It's just really interesting. So his cause of death is still unknown. I'm going to assume homicide or suicide. I'm not sure. But this case highlights something we often see in outdoor environments, especially coastal ones, that remains can be scattered, moved, and preserved in ways that delay answers for literally decades. Even now, more than 25 years later, the full story of what happened to Walter remains unsolved. Next, we'll head to Great Smoky Mountains National Park. A 65-year-old woman died after falling approximately 60 feet while hiking the very popular Alum Cave Trail. The trail is 4.6 miles round trip. It's considered moderately strenuous, and it's known for steep drop offs, narrow sections, and uneven terrain. Emergency crews responded, but she was pronounced dead at the scene. Now, these are some contexts that matter. The Smokies are the most visited national park in the US, so tons of people do this trail. And despite that, they've recorded over 100 fatalities in the past decade. Now, this wasn't an extreme expedition, this was a popular trail. And the takeaway here is familiarity and popularity don't equal safely. So when you head out this summer or anytime, always remember just because it's popular does not mean it's safe. Take the proper precautions. Now we'll go to southern Utah near the Little Wild Horse Canyon. A group of hikers had to be rescued after a flash flood surged through the canyon. If you are not familiar with slot canyons, if it rains, even if it's raining 2 hours away, slot canyons are extremely dangerous. They will flash flood like that, a snap. And so paying attention to the weather in the nearby area and away areas is very, very important because a ton of people have died in slot canyon flash floods and historically over the last however many years we've been keeping track of this stuff. Specifically, one when I toured Antelope Canyon a few years ago, there was, I think, an incident that happened in the 90s and a lot of people died. So everybody knows, well, I won't say everybody, most people know that if rain is in the forecast, do not go in a slot canyon. Now, rain was falling elsewhere in the region, so it was not directly overhead of these hikers. Floodwaters rapidly funneled into the narrow canyon, and several of the hikers were swept off of their feet and carried downstream. Multi agency rescue teams responded, and everyone survived with minor injuries. Now, can you think of how scary that would have been to be swept off your feet and carried downstream? I probably would have died because I'm not a strong swimmer. And you also are facing panic. You're panicking. You've got your cortisol levels that have just went way up. And so sometimes that actually it decreases your ability to think rationally. And so I'm glad everyone survived, but it can be really dangerous. So just a reminder that weather elsewhere in the region matters to what's going to affect you. Now, slot canyons are the one of the most dangerous environments during storms because this is why. Water has nowhere else to go but forward. Escape routes are limited or non-existent, and flooding can happen literally within minutes. Officials described this outcome as lucky because in many similar cases, survival isn't the outcome. Next, we'll head over to Black Canyon of the Gunnison National Park, where a 40-year-old man from Denver was found dead approximately 800 feet below the south rim near Gunnison Point. And the only things we know is that his body was discovered by park visitors. The fall distance was extremely steep at 800 feet, and this incident is still under investigation. So, Black Canyon is one of the steepest and most vertical canyons in North America. I've actually been there. I lived like 30 minutes away in Colorado for a while. It's beautiful, but I'm terrified of heights, so I don't really get close to the edge at all. But it is very, very steep and it's just like straight up. It's crazy to look at. Many overlooks here have sheer drop offs with minimal barriers. So, unlike many outdoor incidents, there was no confirmed storm or extreme condition here, just the terrain. And in places like this, terrain alone is enough to be fatal. Now we go to Nepal and Mount Everest. Authorities are investigating a large scale fraud scheme targeting climbers. So these are the details, and honestly, this is terrible. I mean, I hope no one has died from this, but it's kind of funny. Estimated 20 million in fraudulent insurance claims. Allegations involve some guides and operators, and the tactics reportedly included are exaggerating altitude sickness, faking emergencies, and arranging unnecessary helicopter evacuations. Now, from what I've read online, it seems like some people were making, climbers sick so that they had to leave. That's not funny. That's not why I was saying it's funny. I think it's very ironic. Maybe funny is not the right word, but I think it's ironic. So the evacuations were then billed to insurance companies under falsified documentation. So this is fraud. And I mean, who knew that in 2026 we were gonna get Mount Everest $20 million fraud scheme. That seems crazy. The time frame for this fraud scheme was between 2022 and 2025, and there were potentially thousands of climbers affected. Now, this matters because climbing Everest already involves extreme risk. And then this introduces another layer: financial exploitation and potential manipulation of climbers in vulnerable conditions. The authorities in Nepal are now working to crack down on the practice. So I don't know. Who knew when we see that, didn't have that on my 2026 bingo card. And we'll end today's segment with something rare: progress. In Madagascar, conservationists have launched a reforestation corridor to reconnect fragmented habitats. This project launched in 2023, and its goal is to restore about 150 hectares of forest. The focus is on reconnecting habitats for lemurs, which are found nowhere else on Earth, only in Madagascar. This matters because Madagascar has lost significant forest cover due to deforestation, and habitat fragmentation isolates wildlife populations and causes their numbers to go down. Now, these are early results. Lemurs are already using the corridor, which is great. Native trees are successfully established, and local communities are involved through employment and sustainable land use practices. Conservation efforts that include local communities tend to be far more successful long term. So, while we have some good, we have some bad, and I always want to include some good stuff in my nature news. So, I am so happy that Madagascar is doing that and that it's being so successful and giving people jobs at the same time. Now, these stories span continents, but they all connect in some way. The outdoors aren't predictable. A case can take decades to piece together. A single step can be fatal. A storm miles away can put you in danger. And even on the highest mountain in the world, risk doesn't just come from nature. But there's another side too: efforts to restore ecosystems, to reconnect what's been lost, to create something better moving forward. If you take away anything from today, I would say pay close attention to conditions, especially weather. Respect the terrain, even on popular trails, and understand that risk in the outdoors isn't always obvious. Because out there, the difference between routine and tragedy is often just one moment. Next time I record, I hope to put an update about my travels to Nevada, going to a really cool state park. I hope you guys have a great week and entry into May, which is my favorite month. My birthday is this month, so yay. And yeah, I hope you have a great day. Thanks for joining in and listening. And I have some new things that will be coming out, and I'm pretty excited. I also have a very long road trip. Well, it's not like a long one, but a very packed road trip in early June with my mom, who's flying out here from Arkansas. And so I am excited to show her a little bit more of the Southwest. So I can't wait to update you guys on that. And have a great day and a great weekend. And I will see you next time. As always, recreate responsibly and remember, sometimes the great outdoors aren't always great. Thanks for listening to Morbid Outdoors. If you're enjoying what you're hearing, make sure to subscribe to the show on your favorite podcast platform. It's free, easy, and it helps us out immensely. When you subscribe, you get updates on our latest episodes, and it also boosts our visibility, making it easier for other curious souls to find us. Another great way to support Morbid Outdoors is by leaving us a review. Whether you're on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen, a quick review helps us know what you love about the show. You can also join us on Patreon for early and ad-free content. Find us on Instagram and Facebook at Morbid Outdoors Podcast. You can email us case suggestions and your campfire stories at morbidoutdoorspodcast@gmail.com. Thanks so much for the support, and I'll see you next time.